So what you're getting ready to see is step 3 in our sales process, the discovery meeting, the DM1. Those are the two main names you'll hear for it. So what we're doing here, so think back to that appointment setting script. We're going to take 10 to 15 minutes to get to know the business owner and their business. Ask them kind of a standard set of questions, build some rapport with them. You'll see some mechanics that we'll go through here. So what we're going to do, what you're going to see, you're going to hear me ask some just general questions about their business. You're going to hear me at the very beginning set the second appointment. That's really the main goal of this. If you can't set the second appointment or they won't set it with you, you forget to set it, then there was really no point to asking these questions, right? So set that second appointment at the very beginning, and the setup to how to do that is very important. So pay attention to the verbiage and how I set it up, because you have to give them context, because if you just come in and say, thanks for meeting with me, I'd like to meet with you again next week, they're going to look at you like you have 3 heads. So what we're going to do is set up that second appointment with context, go through our questions. And when we're doing this and when you're doing this, don't feel like you have to give anything up, right? Start asking questions, stop answering them. That's really the goal with this one. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hey, Joel, thanks for meeting with me today. Excited to get to meet with you for a couple minutes. Like we talked about on the phone, shouldn't take too long.
Sure.
But like I said, my name's Kyle. I'm with Colonial. You run proper manufacturing here. How long have you been in business here, man?
Man, we've been in here probably 25 years.
25. Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
What do you guys manufacture exactly?
We actually build houseboats.
Houseboats?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm just surprised it's lasted this long, but there keeps being a need for it. We handle everything from, we'll wire them with home theater systems, anything you want. We build it from the ground up, usually on pontoons on a lot of them. But we have some solid holes we build, but it's a fun business, man.
Yeah, I bet. Need seems a little relative when it comes to houseboats, but that still seems fun.
No doubt. So it can be as simple as you want a jacked up pontoon boat. We do it, but we build everything from the ground up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We don't modify anything.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things you don't think about, but somebody's got to build those boats. They don't
I've just been surprised it's lasted this long.
Yeah, they don't just throw siding on a pontoon and call it a houseboat, do they? Yeah, there's a little more to it than that.
I'll walk you through the shop later.
Okay, cool. How'd you even get into this business? Is it like a family thing, or?
I started because I wanted to build a boat.
Uh-huh.
And I built one, and I looked at a few things, and just people weren't building good stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of grew word of mouth, and then I said, I actually have a business here, and now it's time to get to work and grow it.
Yeah, right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. So like I said on the phone, I just want to take 10 minutes to get to understand your business, tell you a little bit about what we do. But what I'm really going to do is I'm going to go through some of these questions, and I'm going to take the answers kind of back to our team, put something together specifically for you based on that. And so what I'd like to do is come back next week at the same time for about another 10 to 15 minutes to go over what we found to see what might be a good fit for your company.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So would this same time and day work next week? So we're meeting, today's Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning. I know offhand that's good for me. Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Good time.
This is at the same place at 123 Main Street?
Right here, yep.
Okay. And this is like the only location you guys have, right?
Yeah, it's only one.
And you're the person I need to meet with about any of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we got it for next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Cool. So you build boat houses. Do you have a direct line? I know when I called to set the appointment, I came through your gatekeeper, Jenny.
Yeah. Here's my cell phone.
Okay.
555-555-5555.
Okay, great. And she mentioned to me on the phone the first time I called up here that you guys have 20 employees. Is that correct?
I had 22.
22. Okay. They all full time? You got some part timers? How does that?
We got a couple part timers, a couple like an apprentice electrician. So we running 18 of them full time. Everybody else is part time with the desire to be full time.
Right. Yeah. Get a couple more orders for boats and they'll be full time. That type of thing.
No doubt.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's a typical day like for you guys? Imagine you guys probably get up pretty early and get started, I guess.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Our crews are running at 7:30. They have to be moving.
Right.
And we're 7:30 to 5. We don't we get started at 7:30. There's all the work that they have to do. Their team leads. We've got the fiberglass in the back, and they're getting started depending on the work orders. Depends on how fast they got to go. But yeah,
right.
It's just a typical day.
Yeah.
We don't work weekends. they'd be mad at me if I made it because they wouldn't be on their boats.
Yep, I don't work weekends either if I can help it.
Yep, sure.
So it sounds like you got to kind of segment it out. You got people that are doing fiberglass, electricity. You probably got, I don't know what else is totally involved, but it sounds like you got probably 2, 3, 4 people in each section.
Everything's done in 2 different buildings, but yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. So how do you find the people that work for you? You got people applying, asking to work? Is it network? I mean, who comes to work for you?
Most of the people I have just looking for something. I mean, most of the guys I've had started with me.
Yeah.
You know, we found people who had different talents because we don't do any of the engine work, so we didn't need mechanics.
Right, yeah.
You know, we had people who had construction backgrounds, you know, whatever, electrician backgrounds, but there's no wood.
Right, yeah.
So it's a little different.
Yeah.
Welders, fiberglass guys, and most of those guys are learning on the fly. We have a couple big guys who know what they're doing.
Yeah, gotcha. Most of the guys working for you probably with this type of work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. They got families, kids, I mean, yeah, so this is like the breadwinning type job
And some
for
of
them.
them, they have families, but they're just paying for them.
Right.
Take it out of their check every week.
Yeah, I got you. Tell me about your experience with benefits. I mean, you said you started this just kind of as you saw a need for it and you were just doing it and realized you needed more people and you wanted to grow the business. So I'm guessing at some point in 25 years you've had some sort of experience with benefits. Is that right?
We actually offer them some.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you offer?
They got the major medical, and I think they got like a group life or something like that.
Okay. So slow down for me on the major medical. So do you work with a broker on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have somebody that does it, like a broker type person.
Right.
Just because I don't know how to do that stuff. But yeah.
He just kind of brings you some plans and you look at the price.
It's for me, I'm mostly involved with the rates going up and
right.
You know, trying to limit my overhead, but still make sure these guys are happy.
Yeah.
So I think we pay half of it for them.
Okay.
Blue Cross and Jim over at the agency.
Jim is your broker's name?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you know, we're not trying to change anything about your health insurance plan.
Right.
That's not really our wheelhouse. Just good to know for context on what you guys do.
Good.
So do you know what the deductible is? You said you pay about 50%. Do you know what that deductible is on that plan this year?
We just had to reassess that this year.
Yeah.
I had to raise the deductible a little bit
Okay.
over how much I pay because I was paying 65%, 70%, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And so now we're at 50%, and their deductible is at $3,000.
Okay.
We used to be able to run at $1,500. I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, it sounds like so your costs are going up all around on that. And then at the same time,
Well, we had a couple claims, and broker
Yeah.
tells me that claims make it go up. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So on that, so you would, if you got that $3,000 deductible, so about how many of your employees do you think? I mean, you had to raise it this year, and that's kind of a change in their financial picture.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, that's what it is. And so, how many of them do you think could come up with that if something were to happen? I mean, you said you had a couple claims, so obviously people are using it.
yeah, there's probably only a couple people, and actually probably just me that could do it. To tell you the truth.
If I could find something that would help you kind of bridge that cost and offset that for your employees, you think they'd be interested in hearing about that, or you'd be interested in hearing how we could do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to look. I mean, to
Okay.
be quite candid with you, I don't know how much money I'd have. I mean, we just had to make some adjustments anyways, but
Sure.
if it don't cost me anything, I'll have that discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I'll certainly keep cost in mind as I bring it back to you.
Sure.
And we can go over that next week. I just want to. I've got a couple ideas. I just want to make sure I take it back to my team and get the right thing for you as we go
Perfect.
through the rest of this.
Makes sense.
Okay. So you said you had a group term life.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that 20,000?
That's a 10,000.
10,000. What about any vision or dental insurance?
You know what? I have not looked into that, but that probably
Okay.
is something that would be important.
Okay. Have you had employees ask about it in the past, or?
Yeah, well, yeah. Some of these, and look, I'll walk you around. You'll see these guys. Some of them need dental insurance.
All right. I'll tell them you said that, not me.
That works for me.
All right. So tell me a little bit about how that. It sounds like you had to have a little bit more of a conversation this year about the plan, and things changed compared to previous years. So how did enrollment time go for that? How did you guys handle communicating those changes to your guys? Did you work with the broker? Tell me a little bit of what your experience with it this year.
Yeah, I brought my I brought Judy in.
She's
my billing lady. She handles all my office stuff. She's
Gotcha.
Office manager. So I brought her in, and the broker came in, and we just kind of stand up, hand out information. He does his spiel, and they do a lot of paper back and forth.
Okay.
If they send something to Jim, I mean, sometimes Jim has to tell Judy what it is that needs to be repaired in the application or what have you. But we try to keep it as simple as possible, but ultimately there's still questions, timelines are off. They got to talk to their wife. It just feels like we're herding cats.
Yeah.
But it's normal.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. Okay. I hear that a lot from people that we work with, that they feel like they're herding cats. That's a great analogy for it. If I could show you a process that would not change anything about what your medical is, it has nothing to do with that. It'd just really be a way to streamline that, because it sounds like Judy probably has a big headache around the renewal time each year to get it right. Mm-hmm. So if we could help streamline that process for her, take away a lot of the paperwork as far as the physical paperwork to hunt down, and have somebody that could just show your employees what it is that they're signing up for in one go. Is that something you'd be interested in hearing about?
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in hearing anything on that. I mean,
so when do you do your enrollment? So the process, I think I got a pretty good picture of it now.
Yeah, February do the enrollment.
Okay. So do you offer any other benefits along with that? So do you have any, like a disability plan, an accident plan, 401k?
If they're with me a year, they get 2 weeks a year in vacation. But that's
PTO?
Yeah. They can use it for sick or vacation.
All right, so you told me you're the guy who makes the decisions for your company. So you had some changes this year on your medical insurance. Has it been a constant thing the last 3 to 5 years where you're dealing with either rate increases or deductible increases, or was that the first real change you had to make?
We've offered
Big
benefits
change.
for honestly, we've gone a long time without it. Over the last 5 years, we've offered benefits, and it seems like every other year or so, and it's only 5 years, but every other year something has to change, plan, makeup, all that good stuff. So
yeah.
It's a to-do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about having to do that every other year?
It's part of business.
Yeah. You just kind of deal with it?
Yeah.
All right. So if I could show you something that would not necessarily have a big to-do every single year, mm-hmm. and would to actually help take some of the to-do off of y'all's hands, mm-hmm. would you be interested in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it's a big deal, so yeah.
Okay. And so we talked a little bit about this, but if you were king for a day and money wasn't an issue, what's one thing you would offer your employees or would want to have for yourself as far as, your benefits go?
I think that dental would be good.
Dental?
Yeah, I think that dental would be real good.
Okay. Well, really, that's all. I think all the questions I've got for you right now. So just to kind of recap, make sure I'm on the same page. So you're the person we'll be meeting with. You might be bringing in your payroll person.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about the changes you made in your health insurance plan this past year and the mm-hmm. increased costs and deductibles with that. You said you might be interested in hearing a strategy to help bridge that cost if something were to happen. It sounds like you would be interested in a smoother enrollment process and then dental.
Yeah, those sound like good things to talk about.
Okay. I'll put something together. Like I said, I'm just going to make sure I, cross my T's and dot my I's on that and bring that something that I hope will address all those next week that I hope to be able to earn your business with.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Okay.
I appreciate
it.
Great.
Well, again, I'll be seeing you again next week at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. So break that down a little bit. So what you saw, some of the mechanics, just kind of the process, what we did there. So the beginning, I just asked a couple questions about his business, how to get into it, that kind of thing. Just some general rapport building, get them, engaged in a conversation, right? Not just jumping right in. Who's your medical insurance carrier? That's not really the dynamic we want. So build a little bit of rapport. If you notice that setup at the beginning, I told him what I'm going to do with the information that I'm asking him, which should make them feel more comfortable about answering the questions, because they're not just some dude that's coming in asking questions and then disappears. That's kind of a weird thing. So set it up properly for the appointment. Why we need the second appointment is also the why we need to ask these questions. So double check if he was the decision maker. That's very important. Yes, you may qualify, but every once in a while you're going to get the guy at the front desk that just gives you his manager's name, so you need to make sure you're talking to the right person. So from there, verify the number of employees. Again, found out it's 18 full-time, 4 part-time, just good background knowledge to have. Learn a little bit about the dynamics of their workforce. In this case, it said mostly men. They got families. All right, tells me a little bit about their financial priorities of the individuals that work there. So when I was talking about the insurance benefits that they have, I really harped on and asked about the changes that they've had to make. What are the hassles? What do they not like? How do they feel about it, as opposed to literally just the factual information about their plan? Right? He's talking about it's a big to do. We've got a little bit of a mess every year, but we wrangle it. and you did kind of harped on, Jim's not super involved. He kind of just says, here's what I need from you if you want it, is kind of the vibe that he gave off. And so that's why I started using trial closes. Hey, if I could put something together that would help offset that cost of that deductible, right? You said that not many of your employees could, if any of them could actually come up with that $3,000. If I could help offset that cost for you, would you be interested in hearing about that? I didn't tell them accident plan, med bridge, critical illness. I didn't talk about anything. I just said, broadly, if I could help solve this issue for you, would you be interested in hearing about it, right? Same thing with the enrollment. Hey, if I could find a way to streamline that process for you that made sense for you, would you be interested in hearing about it, right? Then to bring that up in the second meeting, right? But I'm not telling him anything specific about what to do. I'm just asking questions. And then you always have that cop out, so to speak, if they're like, well, what do you mean? How are you going to do it? Tell me more. Like you say, let me take this back to my team. I'm just trying to figure out what would make sense to even talk about in the next meeting, right? Again, kind of like on the objections where you feel like you're a broken record going over that same verbiage all the time, always fall back on that, right? You're not being evasive because this is literally what you should be doing with your managers, and managers you should be doing with your agents when they're doing discoveries, is going through this information, figuring out the best strategy, and adjusting your DM2 presentation for it. So really dive in on the details and then figure out how they feel about it and how and why they would be open to fixing it. So then from there at the end, if you heard, it's not on the discovery form, but just if you were king for a day and cost didn't matter, what would you ask? That's a great question to ask. A good follow-up that I didn't use in this video would just be, what's prevented you from adding it, right? Because they're going to tell you really an objection up front. But then at the very end, what I tied together was I recapped what we talked about and what he said he'd be interested in hearing about. So that way, when I come back for that DM2 meeting at the next week that I set, I know exactly what he said he wanted to talk about. And I also said, I'm hoping I can solve this so I can earn your business. Don't be shy of letting them know that you have a point to the meeting, right? I'm hoping to earn your business next week. This is how I'm hoping to do it based on what you said. That's really that. So take all the notes that you can on and take note of body language and when they got excited, when they got annoyed about the insurance that they have. Make note of all those different things because those are the same pain points, are the pain points that you're going to need for the DM2.